I always say, "Hey, if we're not happy, what are we doing here?" So my grandpa said once, like, the thing about a loan is the payment rolls around every 30 days, right? It's so true. It can stack up and pile up so much.
Switched to performance pay, and their revenue doubled in the first year without hiring any additional people.
We almost doubled our gross revenue each year. It's gotten a little less than that as we've gotten into the millions now.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Share Willow podcast. Today, I'm here with Chase from Next Gen Landscaping. Chase, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so tell us about Next Gen Landscaping. I know you guys are doing a lot of cool things over there. Tell us about what you do and how you got into this.
Yeah, so we're a commercial only full service landscape company in Maricopa County in Arizona here and do parts of Pinal County as well. But I grew up around the industry. My grandpa owned a commercial landscape company out here for about 30 years. So I got to kind of go around with him to job sites and kind of grow up in the industry and kind of see projects come to life, building a lot of the master planned HOA communities in Arizona. And yeah, I remember sweeping off his front porch when I was at his office when I was like 10 years old. He was working on a tractor and I kept looking at the blower and I'm like, "Hey, Pop, do you think I could just use the blower and blow it off?" And he's like, "Son, you start with a broom and you work your way up to a blower." So that's kind of how the company went too, just starting as a crew member and then crew leader of all the different divisions and then production manager and account manager and director of field operations. And here we are now.
That's awesome. I think a lot of kids, they start out, they have like their lawn care business, they're mowing lawns, knocking on doors. So it sounds like you were able to kind of at least be under someone's wing and learn the ropes that way. Tell us a little bit about,
No,
the scale. So obviously a lot of those roles aren't in every landscaping company, only like larger ones. So tell us about, how big are you guys and kind of just scale of the business.
Absolutely. So January of 2019, we started with just a old truck, had about 300,000 miles and no air conditioning, and then we just kept we did a lot of like residential cleanup and some tree care and irrigation as I got my contractor's license and then got our first commercial job. And a lot of residential people would ask like, "Hey, we do our maintenance here," and I was like, "Oh, we're going commercial only," and they're probably like, "What is he talking about?" And but we got our first commercial job, and then the snowball just started rolling, and so now we almost doubled our gross revenue each year. It's gotten a little less than that as we've gotten into the millions now, but like we have 25 employees and account managers, project managers, office manager, HR manager. So we're heading the right direction, but just trying to always focus on the fundamentals of what got us here.
That's awesome. And just for people that don't know, when you say, commercial first account, is that, an office building? Is it, multifamily? Like what does that mean? What is
Yeah.
commercial to you?
It was a barbecue restaurant, and we were in there eating breakfast. They're like, "Hey, you're in here eating breakfast every day. You might as well do the landscaping." And now, we do 4 properties for them. One of them, we built a new location for them in Scottsdale with new construction, and so, but we also do industrial sites. We do all the Whataburgers in Maricopa County, Rudy's Barbecues, Chuck E. Cheese, Home Depot, Starbucks, shopping centers, and some HOA communities as well.
And what does it look like to win those contracts? Are they putting out bids and it's, like an RFP process, or is it really one-to-one relationship based? What does that look like?
It's got a little bit of versatility there. We have some just building owners that manage it, or some general managers of the store to start building that relationship. Some stuff is an RFP for maybe larger HOA communities or
Mhm.
bigger corporate facilities or property managers that have multiple locations. They get a little bit more granular in depth on how their bidding process goes out. But a lot of it comes from relationship building. I would say primary, it comes from building a solid website and having a solid form that they fill out and a workflow process there, that the funnel that happens there. And so we just try to, each time that does happen, we try to respond and be on site respond within 24 hours and be on site within 48, just to be that initial conversation and showing up with a wrapped vehicle, uniform, business cards, a map of the property, and have a really good experience. I always try to put myself in their shoes and what I would want if someone was coming to bid my property, and so I tried to still tailor that experience, and we're still going to keep improving on that. But
Yeah,
that's kind of what it looks like.
so so let's dive a little deeper there because I've been talking to a lot of contractors, home service companies, and a lot of them are really focused on that experience of like customer comes to the website, they fill out the form, you say you try to respond in 24 hours, be there in 48 hours. Like, talk to me a little bit more about that. Like what does your response look like? Like, say they fill out a form, "Hey, I'm looking at this." Do you have, a script that's going out? Do you have any automations? Like what tools are you using to sort of capture those leads? Like, walk me through a lot of the like really granular stuff. And by the way, the reason I ask this too, I think a lot of business owners, you have secret sauce, but you don't even know you're doing it because you're just like, that's just what I do. But then a lot of times I'll uncover like, oh, that's really interesting that you position it that way. So that's why I'm really diving in.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's an ever evolving process, and how I did it the first couple years, I would have to go do the maintenance myself too, as well as the crew leader. So now that I've continued to be able to step back from the field operation side of things, even the hands-on part of it, I've been able to continue to tailor that experience, and I have even a vision of where I like to see it go. So the first couple years, it was me getting the form straight to my phone. I was probably already at a job site, so I'm calling them, and then I'm trying to fit it into my schedule or my route, even if consisted of me dropping a crew off at a job site and then going to the bid and going back. But now it's a little bit more of a smoother process, right? We get that form filled out. We reach out to them initially just over the phone call, and we have that conversation of asking what they're looking for commercial landscaping, maintenance, trying to filter out any residential jobs and stuff like that. Um,
And by the way, sorry, just curious, and I know this is probably a completely separate tangent or rabbit hole, but why don't you do residential?
So there's a few reasons there. I think it's a really tough market out here. You have a lot of unlicensed, like you say, people just starting their lawn care company to go service residential properties. So we get to focus really on industry standards of landscaping. We follow sustainable landscape management practices and through the Arizona Landscape Contractors Association, the National Association of Landscape Professionals. So we get to really focus on industry standards compared to residential, which is a little bit more tailored experience to how they want their shrubs trimmed. And I'm all open to that unique experience too with a commercial property manager that wants to see things a certain way. The We have a minimum that a lot of residential people probably wouldn't even go for. It's not huge. It's increased. It was started at $330 a month for twice a month service, and it was like 420. Now it's 520 a month for twice a month, and 1125 for weekly. But that kind of allows us to be in a good realm there. And if a commercial property manager reached out to me about an issue at their property, and I was at a house for an $80 job, I just felt like it wouldn't be the right experience for them. And
Yep.
so going the commercial route especially for the landscaping industry became a lot more scalable. I think if I was doing plumbing or HVAC and stuff like that, where it's kind of a more standardized pricing based on the materials needed, I would do residential and commercial. But for the landscaping industry, I feel like, and especially growing up in commercial only, that was just the avenue I went down. And I get asked all the time, and even have team members asked to go to residential, and then an issue will arise, and I kind of able to show them this is why we don't go residential. It's nothing against the people or the person or anything like that. It's just the scalability factor for our industry.
Yep. No, that makes a lot of sense. And we can get back there. So I want to go back to the process.
Mhm.
Uh you filter the lead, you get the lead that comes in, you sort of
Yep.
make sure that, they're within your ICP is what we call, ideal
Mhm. Yep.
customer profile. Uh and then are you dispatching like estimators to go out? Like what is the like kind of team dynamic on who you send to the job to do the estimate? And is it always on site?
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, it's on site. We like to go on site with a map of the property. We go on the Maricopa County Assessor Parcel Viewer, so we can really view where their parcel ends and begins. Then we take a map out there and walk the property with them. One, to make sure all the parcels right, that we're bidding the right section, kind of going over our scope of work and explain to them our
Okay.
process. And I ask every single one of them, I go, what is it you're looking for in a new landscape company that your current vendor's not providing? And 9 times out of 10, it's communication. So we just try to hone in on the communication side of things. If we can become one of the most communicative commercial services companies, then we're heading in the right direction. So if we can focus on that, a lot of the rest will
Yeah.
follow. I want to increase though. We like right now we'll have an account manager, myself kind of share that duty. However, I do want to increase that to hopefully having a business development rep or an estimator that is doing it on a consistent basis that can fulfill those roles. But we're just sharing hats right now, right? Until we can keep building out the company. Everybody wants to go just higher for each position, but we have to scale and get to a comfortable factor and keep our debt to income ratio in a safe manner, and then we can continue to get there. But that's kind of how that process works right now. I'm looking at some automation features though, so I can have a little bit more of a solid user experience friendliness there where they fill out the form and I'm creating a video that they can receive and we can kind of start explaining some of that stuff already and get that like energy going and that excitement going about
Yep.
what type of difference they're about to experience. And our motto is elevating the industry. So we just want to elevate the industry all across the board from their experience from when they first sign on with us to their experience when we maintain them for a long time to how the employees have their experience here at the company and in how we talk to our vendors. We get compliments sometimes like, hey, you have some of the most respectful people that come into our business to purchase stuff from us. And that's important. So I want to
Yeah.
continue to elevate the industry all across the board. And if we have that growth mindset and that just bleeds down through the team and that helps just create that energy and excitement.
100%. Um, One thing in there I was curious about. So are most people coming to you switching vendors, not looking for a new vendor?
Yeah, but it's usually because of a problem or with a current vendor. Not not even usually pricing. It's just usually that they feel that they signed the contract with them or the agreement. We have 1 year agreements, but they're can't be able to be canceled within 30 days and they're not stuck into anything, right? But that communication experience and they feel like they get forgotten about. And
Yep.
so how do we fix that? So quarterly quality assurance, monthly updates on their properties for them to go through. Hey, here's where we're at. Here's how everything is going. Do you have any questions? Anything I can help with? Then quarterly walks, going and walking the property with them if they want to. So unique experiences, right? Some people want to be hands-on. They want to walk. They want to get an understanding what's going on. Some just say, "Hey, handle it." So it kind of differentiates, but we want to be able to tailor to each of those experiences for them. But it's kind of what it looks like right now.
Um, and then so you go to the property or like so does the customer come to you knowing their scope or are you kind of going, you do the walk through, you know, like what's the pitch? Like, are you like, hey, this is what I saw. Here's what we're doing for other people. Here's my proposal. Like, I'm curious, the pitch since they are coming from an existing provider vendor.
Yeah, so especially with HOA communities and like large corporate facilities and property managers, they do have like the RFP we're talking about, and it has certain scope requirements in it. And then we provide our scope, and we can kind of tailor it to meet both. But 9 times out of 10, our scope is sufficient enough because it's got the experience built in of what all the scopes have looked like and need to be. So we've kind of touched all the bases, and anything that happens, anything that arises we go and edit and fix that, and so that next time it's already in the scope and in the descriptions and stuff like that, so we're kinda able to meet with those industry standards, and, it's usually all pretty acceptable, whether it be keeping the trees at 8 or 10 feet canopies, just the whole process of everything going, so we have semi-annual pre-emergent applications, we were going and doing a lot of back and forth on irrigation repairs. Hey, you have a leak. Here's the photo. Not hearing back for a day. How much is the estimate? Give them an estimate and going back and forth. Well, the industry standard is time and material for irrigation repairs. And because we don't know
Yeah.
what's going on underneath the ground. And so we usually get like a not to exceed amount, whether it ranged from 350 to 1,000. And we set up about 75% of our properties on a reoccurring basis from that 350 to $1,000 not to exceed amount where we're going in, we're proactively managing and repairing their irrigation systems and providing the before and after photos and itemized
Yeah.
material list. And I think that's just improved it tenfold because we're able to hire more irrigation techs. We know what's coming on each month. We're not constantly being reactive to each request and each leak. So
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
things like that, little nuances that get granular that have really helped the streamline and flow and scalability factor there.
That's awesome. So 100% of your customers are contracts, like on a recurring customers?
Yep, yep. Oh, not
That's
100% of our contracts are so about 80% of our clients are monthly reoccurring revenue, and then we have about 20% that is consisted of new build construction. So we go and get the
okay.
blueprints and we put in a proposal to build the landscaping based off of the blueprints. And sometimes those are just the one-time deals that we have the warranty after that provides with maintenance and the warranty of the plants and irrigation system. But we're fine. We didn't start that division right off the bat because I'd get asked to do that a lot, and I know that's how my grandpa's company solely was, but I wanted to build that monthly reoccurring revenue. I wanna know what's coming in next month. That seems to be
So
one of
sick. Yeah.
yeah, that's super important. So I went focused on that, and now we're able to start adding in those new construction jobs, and then what we're finding is they're keeping us on for maintenance afterwards, so
Yeah, I was gonna say that feels like such a good wedge. It's like, yeah, of course we'll do it, and then it's like, why would you not have us maintain it if we did it, right? So then I'm sure
Mhm.
the funnel there, the attach rate in from one time landscaping into the recurring has to be pretty high.
Absolutely, and we have the blueprints, we know where everything was at, we know how everything was built, we have that full understanding of that landscape, and, um, a lot of times too, the designers and architects don't really see what the landscape's gonna look like in 5 to 10 years, so they overplant and stuff, and we're able to kinda work with them on what their landscape's gonna look like and be able to kinda manage it and maintain it because we see what it's gonna turn into in 5 to 10 years, and with that sustainable landscape management certification that we carry too as well, I'll come across a lot of properties, and this kind of circles back to your last question. It was talking about what would kind of point out the properties, and I'd say like a lot of the properties aren't getting annual cutbacks or rejuvenations of the plants, which so you have like a 5 or 10 foot sage bush, and we cut it back to about 12 inches and then let that rejuvenate and grow in. And it looks like they have new plants on that property. So when clients allow us to get through all 4 of the seasons, they're able to see a really big turnaround on their landscape company. So it's not just communication, it's not just that we're showing up on time, it's not that just we're just being proactive, but we've actually changed how their landscaping looks. So
That's awesome. So in terms of like scope, so is that would that be considered like landscape design or not design? Because so obviously you have the maintenance, which is
yeah.
like lawn care ish,
Yeah.
right? Or talk to me about yeah, I guess like the services offered.
Yeah, we can do design. We don't get asked to too often. Like with that new build construction, they already have the design built out in their blueprints. When the general contractor's reaching out to his plumbing and HVAC and landscaping and asphalt people, they have it already designed for them. So that's really nice compared to like a residential, like they usually have a yard and they need you to come design it for them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
our primary main scope is the maintenance, and then filtered under that it is the enhancement of the property, going and designing little enhancements of areas. We're gonna add some plants in here, some trees in here, do a granite refresh, but also that tree care, reoccurring tree care on the on the properties and the irrigation repairs. So that's kind of all funneled under that maintenance funnel, and then
Mhm.
the construction's the separate side.
Got it. In terms of customer concentration, do you have any like just huge customers that are like 50% of your revenue that like, if you lose them, it's like, holy shit, like that's a big risk? Or is it pretty spread out and no customers bigger than maybe 5% of total revenue?
Yeah, definitely bigger than 5, but no less than 50. I would say more about I have a couple clients that might be in the 10 to 20% range of our total portfolio. Um, but that's just because 'cause we're a small company. I mean, we have 100 reoccurring maintenance accounts and properties that we manage. And so I remember when it was 1 and then 5 and then 10 and 20 and now it is 100. So as we continue to grow, it continue to spread out a little bit. So if something does happen, and I would say that we let go of more clients after year 3 than we had gained in the first year alone. And because I read this on somebody's website one time. It says was a message to the property manager from a landscape company. It says, "You don't work with just anybody, and neither do we." And so we want to work with people that are respectful, that treat our team with respect, because we're going to treat you with respect. We want to be kind, fair. We want to focus on what's proper and what's just. And when we can focus on all those things, we're able to elevate the industry compared to um, there's just certain people out there that you can't work with, and it's
Yep.
do it with kindness. Hey, this just isn't working out. It's not meeting the type of company we're building here, and so we're gonna go our separate ways.
Yeah, I love that. I think, I've heard a lot of founders or just kinda owners of businesses say that, like, they'll walk away from the customer. It's
Hmm.
like, "Dude, I'm not gonna," especially if you're a pain in the ass, it's not a good fit, you treat my employees bad, it's like, you
Hmm.
gotta stand up for your team as well.
Absolutely.
Um, so how do you get new customers? Like, how do customers find you? I'm gonna add a couple things to that. Obviously, how do they find you just in general? And then I'm curious, what type of marketing or lead gen are you doing and what's working?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's mainly through our local SEO and going to our website and filling out the form. Some of it's relationship and recommendations, but filling out that form and building that workflow of the funnel of the form and everything. But it's something like I was saying. I've been able to even step back this year and start focusing on the business development. So really, it was just what was naturally coming in, and we didn't want to grow too fast because you get too big for your britches, you can't handle the work, right? Sometimes we even had to step back and say, hey, we're not going to take on new clients for the next month until we get our properties under control where we're actually servicing our clients properly with what we have. Because if you're not servicing them properly and able to maintain and what you already have, how can you build upon that? So we just really want to focus on providing a great service, and then we've been able to build upon that. So this year, I know it's only what year 6, but I've been able to finally step back even more and talk to some more digital marketing teams and some strategies to really continue to bring our brand to life through videography and testimonies and building out that funnel of how they fill out that form and get the video and just have that whole excitement factor there. And so I think if we did this call again in another year or two, I would have so much more new stuff because that's what I'm working on every day right now to constantly improve while still
Yeah.
maintaining our operations and getting the right people in the right seats to be able to handle what is already there.
I've been watching these, I guess on like TikTok, but it's like they speed them up. It's like people that go to like the yards and they do it in crazy fast. And it's like, it's so satisfying watching that. Like,
Yep.
it's actually so, I think you can do so much cool stuff with content,
Yep.
with landscaping.
I love
Um,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, a
I'm
lot
like
of that's
obsessed.
of the cleanup of that area, everything set up the camera one spot. With the commercial spot, we have a little bit larger areas, but we're not usually doing a whole lot of cleanup, but a small percentage of our companies that cleanup where we can get that real factor there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm super excited to get with some creative directors and start bringing our brand to life through video because that's just a huge next step to get to that next level. But we're also working on our operating systems, right? And our SOPs and how we're handling all that because you can't just get a job, do a job. It doesn't work like that in the scalability side of things, and especially with landscaping, having so many people. Like I know certain companies, they're trying to get 750,000 to a million per tech, right? In the plumbing HVAC world.
Yep. Yep.
However, in landscaping, we're not able to necessarily meet that, so it takes a lot more people to make it happen. But super exciting stuff.
Um, Yeah, I've been talking a lot recently how it's such a balance of like leads and people. It's like if you just feed leads and like you don't have the right people and the right systems and stuff, like you're
Yep.
just feeding a leaky bucket, as they
Mhm.
say. Or vice versa, if you have, staff up too many people and they're just kind of sitting around like, hey, where are the jobs at? So it's like
Absolutely.
it's such a fine balance,
Mhm.
especially I think with you guys where, you know, it requires the people to do the work, right? And then you have the recurring stuff. I just think, yeah, so I think it's critical. I think you're doing it right of kind of focusing on the back end first. I think you have to do that. I think it's kind of short-sighted when people do it vice versa.
Absolutely. I hear all these people, they talk about I hear some people say like, "Oh, I'm not gonna get into commercial because I don't have the money to get into commercial," or "I'm gonna take out a line of credit to start this business." And I'm just like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, let's just stop there." You know? Let's just start small. Start with one job, feel that wear that hat, fill that role, do that duty, understand that position, and add on from there. And especially with that recurring revenue helped us get there because like,
Yeah.
okay, Now we have 5,000 coming in next month. I can hire one person to join the team with me. So, and at first, I didn't want to just hire people. I had to obviously use friends and different resources and stuff, but I didn't want to not be able to give them 40 hours a week when we're only
Yep.
doing 32. So our first employee is still with us today. There were days we only had 32 hours, but I still paid him for 40, or he was going to go get a job somewhere else. So there's an investment, and a lot of people want to just keep all the money for themselves, and you just can't do it because there's no scalability there. And so there's times, even right now, I have employees that are making more money than me on an annual basis. However, it's going to change and it's going to continue to grow, but it's just that growth factor you have to do there. And I try to avoid a payment at all costs. My grandpa said once, like, the thing about a payment is it, or the thing about loan is it rolls around, the payment rolls around every 30 days, right? So it's so true. It can stack up and pile up so much. So our first truck, we went and saved up the $12,500 to go buy it. Or it was the second truck. So, but it was the first crew truck where I was able to take the other truck and go drive around. So we had two high mileage trucks with no air conditioning, but we had no payment. And now we've been able to add trucks with air conditioning and lower miles now, and continue to excite the team that they're getting newer equipment. But still gotta pump the brakes a little bit, right? Because it's easy to go buy way too much thinking we've already made it, and we haven't. It's a daily grind. We're not promised anything. We're not owed anything. We have to wake up and each day with a new day. We don't get rewarded for anything we did yesterday, right? That's done.
Yeah.
Like, we did this yesterday. We should be able to do whatever we want today, right? No, it just doesn't. It doesn't work like that. We have to wake up and be consistency, discipline, urgency, and patience. Most
I
importantly,
actually
patience. But
I actually noticed that earlier. You had said the answer wasn't just hiring someone. I think so many people, "Oh, I'll just hire for that. I'll just hire for that." It's like, it's just never the answer. And also, it sounds like you believe this as well. I just think you can do so much more than you think you can. It's like, "Oh, I'm at capacity." It's like, are you really at capacity? And I think like we can go further and kind of what your friend or whoever said to you they were gonna take out the loan. It's like so many people like overcomplicate it. It's like,
mhm,
dude, go to the business, talk to the guy, send him a
yep,
little PDF contract, and
mhm,
go fix it. You know what I mean? It's like just do it.
mhm,
um,
absolutely, and we've
man,
had to stand behind so much stuff, like anything that goes wrong at a property, or the job didn't go right, or the plants died. I see so many businesses just wanna make excuses, and then they kinda ruin that relationship. We go and pay for it, and we fix the mistake, and we make it right, and then that client's still our client, and it's really creating a partnership with them, right? It's a mutual partnership with each other. How can we do this together? We're gonna be your resource. We're gonna take the work off your plate. As a property manager, we don't wanna put more work on your plate. We wanna take that burden off your plate. We wanna proactively manage. We wanna already have presented any issues at the property to you, not you reaching out to us about them. And there's just so many variables there, but it's just so exciting when things start to go good and you build those client relationships where
yeah,
they start to trust you. And they may not trust you the first month or the first year, but after year two, if some of them get to the point where, like, hey, just go do it and bill me. And it's because they know we're going to bill them properly, fairly, and justly.
yeah. That's such a good feeling when it like crosses that threshold and you kind of like
Mhm.
feel the trust.
Yep,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, I have some people like that, and then I have other people where I'm like, I don't trust you yet.
Yeah, no, for
Hopefully
sure.
hopefully we get there, but we're
Hmm.
not there yet.
I always say you
Um,
can have excuses and results, but not both at the same time. So let's go. Let's drive some results. Let's get it going. But I'm not going to come and make excuses to you. I'm gonna fix the problem. And when someone says we can't do that, or I can't do that, I'm just like, hold my root beer. Let's go. I'm gonna show you we can do that, and it's possible, right? So.
that's awesome. What, so so you have 100 accounts now,
Mhm,
commercial only.
mhm.
Um, where I'm not gonna say 5 years, like, where do you go from here? How do you grow? Where do you wanna grow to size-wise? Do you stay in Arizona? Do you what's your plan?
Yeah, I've definitely gone through a bunch of different scenarios, right? And you never really know what tomorrow's going to hold. But I'm trying to build a scalable and sellable company since day one. And so having our processes in place, me not having to be the face of everything that happens at the company, but utilizing the brand as having a strong brand. And we've had private equity firms reach out to us, and maybe the timing's not right. And sometimes we're not ready to sell to them, or maybe we're not where we need to be yet to be acquired by them. I've looked at a lot of different avenues. I even would be open to doing mergers and acquisitions, and merging or acquiring companies like or less size than us to help us continue to grow. But I'd really like to be. We did $2 million last year in gross revenue, and I'd really like to be at 10 million in 2029. So that's kind of our growth. If from 2019 to 2029, if we can become a $10 million company and profitable, that's 10 years. I think that's a huge goal to reach. I know that about 90, what is it, 97% of companies fail in the first 5 years, and 98% fail in the first 10 years, and less than 1% of companies make it past 10 years and make over $10 million with a profit. So if we can hit a couple of those marks, we're putting ourselves in the less than 1% tile of startups.
Yeah. And the interesting thing, by the way, obviously you know this, but one, I think your business with so many recurring customer 100% of recurring customers is so attractive to literally everyone. And if you can get the cash flow above a certain threshold, like the multiple flips, when it's smaller, I'm sure you know this, it's like,
Mhm,
3 to 4x cash flow is kind of like what they're trading at. But it's like
mhm,
if you get it past like maybe 4 or 5 million in cash flow, which probably
mhm,
requires like 12 million top line, like the
mhm.
multiple flips to like 15x. You know what I
Wow.
mean? So it's like if you can just hold on and then maybe you acquire some to sort of
Mm,
like really build up that business, it's like you can flip it for, I mean, again, it's what everyone wants, but it's like you can sell it for, 15x versus 3, 4x cash flow.
absolutely, and it's super exciting, and I hate the word term buy-in, but when the whole team is bought into the brand and not me, some people like this one person said like, "Oh yeah, Chase want to meet Chase's standards," and I'm like, "No, it's not my standards. The standards need to be successful and produce a high quality service." And so that's what kind of led us to meeting with Share Willow, and having that conversation of what a pay for performance could look like, and what profit share could look like, where people can see the goals that they're trying to reach. And if, okay, this is what I need as a quota to even be successful in my position, or what are we doing here? And then these are the other levels I need to reach to totally go over the top. And I'm trying to create that environment. The culture keeps increasing. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back, but I always say, "Hey, if we're not happy, what are we doing here?" So I want everybody to be happy. I've always put myself in their shoes, and so, like, since I was in those positions, I know what those positions need to be successful, and also kind of what a quality life looks like. And so I try not to make sure I'm not working people over their 40 hours, or if I do, that I'm allowing them to be able to go home early on a Friday, or go enjoy that time with their family, and stuff like that. So being able to be in those positions prior to becoming the CEO, and now I'm continuing to learn and grow as what that position looks like. So I do my daily and weekly reflections. Okay, how do I treat people? How do I talk to people? Am I leading with compassion? Am I loving them? Am I growing them with them? Am I treating them properly?
Yep.
Obviously we have that standard that we need to meet, but there's just so much more opportunity that can still be had. And you want to do everything all at once, right? You listen to podcasts and you listen to mentors speak, and you got to do this and that, and there can become a lot of noise there, but you got to just have that patience, consistency, discipline, urgency, and patience, right? Like
Yep.
if we were going to go look and see who the number one performer is at mine or your company, I would say I could point them out right away as the person with the most urgency, the most sense of urgency of what's needed. So
So my brain was just firing as you were talking. So I actually read this case study yesterday. It's not a customer of Share Willows, but it was actually on the Service Titan blog. It was
mhm,
a company called FH Fur. So
Mhm.
they do plumbing, they also do HVAC, so different industry, but they said on in the thing, they switched to performance pay, and their revenue doubled in the first year without hiring any additional people.
Wow.
And then the other thing that uh, I thought was really interesting. Oh, they said this. The only way you make more money on hourly is by working long hours and spending more time away from the things you love, like your family. That's the only way you can do more, just like you were just saying, right? It's like, I don't want to work you guys to death. Performance pay allows your techs to share in the revenue they bring in for the company. The more success you have for the company, the more you have for yourself. You'll never reward the company without rewarding yourself. And I thought like that language was powerful, you know? So it's like you position it that way. It's like, I'm not taking this away from you. I'm actually giving you an upside to make more money without just clocking more hours.
100%. The company has to meet those standards and stuff to for the company to be successful, and so the team, when they can see that what happens when they do that, not only are they able to increase their pay, but we're able to get the new trucks. We're able to get the new office. We just got our office and yard in the same spot for the first time ever on June 1st, and just the increase in culture and the increase in workflow and the increase in everything is happening there. But building out these standard operating procedures and building out the pay for performance is all just the next steps of not making them job harder so they can work harder to meet those goals, but so they can work smarter, right? And so when they can see what they're reaching up to for a quota and seeing what they need to do to reach those goals, because they can be distracted with all the outside noise. And so when they have it laid out in front of them, there's just such a higher odd of them being successful. So I want them to, just like myself, I try to automate, delegate, or eliminate. I want our management team to do the same. I want their workflow to be automated. I want them to be
Mhm.
able to learn to delegate to the crew leaders and techs that we hire so that they can be successful. I want to eliminate anything extra that is unnecessary.
As we wrap up here, Chase, where are you gonna be in 2 years? Like, tell to us, what's your business size? Let's speak it into existence. You know, how many employees, how many customers, you have 100 contracts now. Where are you in 2 years?
So we're at 25 employees and 2 million gross right now. We were at 1.4 the year before and 700,000 the year before that. So I think that at the end of this year, we're going to be right about 3 million. I would say the next year, 2 years from now, we're going to be right about 5 million and probably right about 45 to 50 employees. And we're going to keep streamlining our workflows and automations and bringing our brand to life through videography and social media because we're able to invest in it. And the digital marketing side of things is just like the startup side of things, where we started with the high mileage truck with no air conditioning, and then we got the high mileage truck with air conditioning, and then we got the low mileage truck with air conditioning. It's the same thing with the marketing side of things because you're able to allocate and budget those funds properly.
Brick by brick. That's how we're
Yes,
building it.
sir.
Brick by brick. I love it. All right. Well, awesome. Chase Ferris, thank you so much for joining us. Where can everyone find you?
Yes, sir. We're at nextgenlandscaping.com, and our Instagram is nextgenlandscaping, and facebook.com/nextgenlandscapingus, as well as LinkedIn. We're based right in Phoenix, Arizona, servicing all of Maricopa County, and just super thankful for you having me on here. You built an amazing platform, an amazing podcast, and so I just appreciate the time.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chase. Thank you guys. Another episode of the Share Willow podcast.